Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Mania Squid Game's third game. We are already into the back half of the matches for the weekend, and oh boy, do we have another very exciting matchup here for you today. We've got the leftovers going up against Eliminate Said. No. On the red side, we've got Bagietka, White Albino, Mitch, and Tavelkin going up against Envy, Zusta, Tonels, and Had and this should be, I would imagine, one of the closer matchups we have seen so far. So far, we've seen 4-0 sweeps in favor of one team or the other. This one, we could potentially see the first combo break of the point streak. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Eliminate. Eliminate, how you doing?
I am doing good. How is it going, everyone in chat? So, Team Blue, regarding their name, there's a bit of backstory. I said no. So that's the lore.
Very deep things.
Getting into the roles, I didn't quite see who. Okay, so CRZ Envy did roll 86 versus Bagietka rolling 7. So Eliminate said no, will take the roll lead, choosing to ban LN1. This is nothing out of the ordinary. I think in the matches I've seen, LN1 have been banned.
Yeah, dance number, very hard map if not to combo your way through, just to get a good ratio on, and having 3 different members all comfortable on that level of LN difficulty might be a little bit too much to ask, given the hodgepodge nature of the team composition. So unsurprising seeing it get out of here. And meanwhile, the response from Eliminate said no, Rice 4 actually going to get removed, so Crystal Chamber Combustion going to be removed from the map pool as well. Meanwhile, the protects were Hybrid 3 and Rice 1. So I think the more standard picks in this pool have been pretty fairly represented in terms of comfort picks for a lot of the teams.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting to see the difference here, the disparity. So one team choosing to protect the hybrids and then the other choosing to protect the Rice. So this might be yet again another battle between the long notes and the Rice.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the onus is really going to come down to whichever team can kind of live in that lower half of the map pool, because with most of the players remaining in this tournament, most, if not all of them, are very comfortable with Rice at or around this difficulty. So it's going to come down to a ratio battle at the top. But if you're finding yourself maybe a little bit outmatched on the Rice, being able to handle your own on the hybrids and the LNs can offer you that little bit of a reprieve, maybe save yourself from getting pushed over the edge and maybe force that tiebreaker to come out if you're not able to get the 4 points on your own.
Yeah, and the leftovers choosing Hybrid 3, their Protect as their first pick. OD 7.5 and only 2 minutes long, mind you. So this will be a battle of who can hold the most combo. Each miss will be very detrimental for their team. Hopefully we don't see many chokes.
Yeah, for sure. There's some pretty nasty anchored mini jacks throughout this chart that can really cause a little bit of concern. You hit that section a little too early and you start column rushing the entire section, and then some jump trolls as well, as if though it wasn't already hard enough to maintain a consistent run throughout. So it'll be very interesting to see how the players handle this particular pick, especially because it is on that 1.2x rate.
I believe we were just waiting on the players to be ready. It looks like we will be having Envy, Tunnels, Had, and playing against YT, Albin, Mitch, and Bagietka for the leftovers. But reading chat, this might not be the case.
Yeah, maybe just making sure that the team compositions are correct. There's always that one straggler that forgets to leave the lobby down in slot 7, maybe 8. And then making sure that the team colors are correct. You don't want to have your score inadvertently go to the wrong side. It's like it's already hard enough to overcome a deficit in Mania, giving the other team an extra basically million points.
Devilkin does not look to understand the format, but that's okay. We'll get things sorted very shortly. I think they just need to leave the multi.
Yeah, I mean, team format's not the most common. This tournament has basically existed in basically mass qualifyings and 1v1. So existing in a team setting, just a little bit of growing pains to get into, but it looks like the players are ready. It is going to be the lineups on screen. White Albino, Bagietka, and Mish going up against Envy, Tunnels, and Had and.
Very interesting names on both teams. I'm sorry if I mispronounce anyone's names during the match. Correct me if I do. Right, getting into it. As I said earlier, not a very long map, so this will be the battle of wits and ratio to go at it.
For sure, and it's really going to come down to who blinks first in terms of spiking that first miss, if there is to be one. I don't think we've had a round so far where all 6 players in the lobby have made it unscathed, and Mitch going to be the first one to blink on the side of the leftovers, going to hand a bit of a substantial lead over to the blue side for the moment to work with right out of the gate.
Yeah, and saying that, it's only at the very start, so that one miss, yet again, as I say that misses again, these misses won't mean a whole lot being at the very start. 3 players on Eliminate said no, missing at the same time.
Yeah,
that is not going to hand the lead over.
Full combo wipe on the side of Eliminate said no. The only person really surviving that transition into the second quarter of the chart was White Albino, holding on to the singular FC in this lobby. Bagietka, Mitch, Tunnels, Had and Envy all finding drops at relatively the same section, and it's those transitions that I was mentioning where it's going to be very interesting to see who spikes the misses, and it just seems that it catches out everybody in the lobby except for White Albino here. And as we make our way into the back half of the map, though, the accuracy starts to play a little bit of a difference here as the lead transitions back over to the blue side here.
Yeah, YT is holding the FC. No one else is. That combo advantage towards the start is helping them. But Mitch does miss yet again. The score is not in their favor. Everyone on Eliminate said no, still holding the combo since that drop. YT Albin will need to hold that FC if they would like a good chance of taking the point back. Saying that Hadan does drop, so does Tunnels. Maybe it can get handed over, but Bagietka does miss in response. It's traded, the scores are getting closer, only within 15k score difference. It's not long of the map left. Does anyone miss on the jump trills?
Yeah, Bagietka finds a drop right before the jump trill section, and as things start to calm down, one last little nasty stream burst to read through, and it looks like it is going to be Eliminate Set No taking the first breakpoint in this match despite the valiant effort of White Albino, the only player to FC that chart.
YT Albino, is it pronounced? Wow, very good score from YT Albino. No bad judgments.
Yeah, very clean run overall, MVPing the lobby, but unfortunately not enough to get the point in this instance. The consistency from the blue side, able to see them through. And it looks like we're going to go from one protect to the other. Rice 1 going to be the choice for Eliminate Set No. So going into Ayu no Uta to go back up into the Rice here.
And this is a really interesting pick, in my opinion. Rice 1 is a very chokeable map. You can definitely drop a lot of accuracy on this map. Seems like Eliminate said no. Does seem quite confident in their pick, though, and their Rice abilities.
Yeah, and given the fact that they were able to maintain a pretty consistent accuracy across the board despite the number of misses on Destroy earlier, might see them pull through on this pick as well. Gonna hope that the leftovers are at a bit of a physical cap in terms of what's required here. An order of magnitude longer as well, 3.5 minutes. Bit of a stamina tester being thrown in to the match here.
Yeah, I do believe this map was in Mania World Cup 2022. So this will definitely be favorable for those tournament players, having already known the map.
Yeah, and even just the ones that are in and around the tournament scene might have heard of this chart as well. I mean, to be fair, there are quite a number of charts in this map pool that featured in pretty prominent tournaments over the past couple of years. So at least familiarity with what is to be expected can be expected.
Yeah, and also me saying that Destroy was also an MWC, but it is ranked now, I believe. So the advantage from the tournament not quite there.
Yeah.
But uprated nonetheless.
As if though it wasn't hard enough already. And it looks like we have our first substitution here on the side of the leftovers. Mish tagging out for Tavelkin here. Just making sure they are on the correct team color. Looks like they have managed to find it, and we should be good to go here. Just waiting on the players to ready up, and we'll get into the second map.
Eliminate said no. It looks like they're using the same rosters last time. Just one switch out for the leftovers, that being Tavelkin.
Yeah, they do have Sista in reserve for Eliminate said no. I think it's just a matter of time zone difference. Playing a little bit of a factor that maybe just giving them time to warm up in case they are needed later on.
Players are now getting into the 3.5 minute long OD8 chart. We definitely will see some chokes. I'll be very surprised if all players stay consistent throughout. But who will come out on top?
Yeah, as we wait for Banjo to get everything in sync. Looks like everybody managed to load in here. It's always interesting trying to keep 6 people in check in these sorts of situations, but we are now fully underway. Everybody making it through this section relatively unscathed. A bit of an appetizer for what is to come. A lot of very beady streams await the players here.
Yeah, Tunnels is holding the really high accuracy already in comparison to everyone else in the lobby. Does finally drop a bit, but still 99.8 from 2 players on Eliminate said no versus the leftovers, whose highest AC is on a 99.5. Very early advantage, but as I say, that YT Alpin does drop. Yeah, again, very early on. It's a 3.5 minute chart. We're not even at the denser part of the map yet. Tavelkin also does miss. Things are not looking good for the leftovers. Eliminate said no will take that early advantage. The early lead is quite large already. Those misses will cost them a lot.
Yeah, those early misses and the fact that their counterparts on the blue side, all 3 FCs still left on the board and highest accuracies in the lobby across all 3 of them. 98.4 the highest, or the lowest for Eliminate said no. Meanwhile, the highest on the leftovers, Baguetka actually holding down the fort here, 99.2, the only FC on their side as Tavelkin and White Albino try to get back up over that 400 combo cap to try and stem some of the bleeding here. It is still the first half of the chart, but this lead is quickly spiraling out of control for the side of Eliminate said no.
Baguetka's the leftovers' only hope at this point will need to combo the rest of the song and hope that Eliminate said no lose 2 of their FCs, or one person has a major choke. But halfway through the map does not seem likely. They seem so confident. As I said, Hadan does drop at the slow section, will not be too detrimental to their score at the 50,000 score lead. Baguetka also still FCing, carrying their team to victory, trying to.
Yeah, the one good thing for Eliminate said no is the fact that Hadan does have the lowest accuracy on their team, so that miss doesn't really do much to trouble the cushion that they have built up. And now Tanel's drops as well, and Envy basically missing on the exact same note as we make our way into the last quarter of the chart, but it is traded back by Tavelkin and White Albino. Baguetka, the only FC remaining in this lobby. Bit of a moral victory, bit of a consolation prize if they are able to hang on here. Still about an eighth of the chart left to go. This lead quickly growing into the realm of insurmountable for the side of Eliminated Set No, as we see another couple of drops coming out from the red team here.
Yeah, as you said, Bagetka being the only FC in the lobby, it's crazy. Eliminated Set No had the 3 full combos going for them, and oh how it fell so fast, but all the misses from the leftovers will just keep adding up and adding up, lowering their score significantly. Eliminated Set No with almost a 100k score advantage. Can Bagetka combo for the rest of the map, get the only FC in the lobby?
I think all eyes on them. They are able to make it through the quadrax as well. That was a harder mouth moment getting into that, but Bagetka manages to nab the only FC in the lobby, but not the MVP actually. That goes over to Nels, a 986k with a singular miss, just able to outratio. Those are some very clean scores over on the side of Eliminated Set No from both Envy and Nels.
Yeah, and can we talk about that PA? The 200 kill on Envy and Nels is unbelievable. That is so low. The ratio as well. These are some crazy good scores. But Bagetka, not to be mistaken, also has the FC to go their way, which is an impressive feat on its own.
For sure. So both protects now off the board here, going the way of the blue team as we wait for the leftovers to make their second pick here. So Hybrid 3 didn't work out in their favor. They do still have 2 LNs and 2 hybrids to go into, and it's going to be LN3. So Turkey going to be their next pick to try and throw a bit of a spanner in the works. Remember, they don't need to win all 4 points outright. They just need to throw off the streak enough to exhaust all the maps, and this could be their best chance to do it. We have yet to see an LN pick in this match. See if this is their opportunity to strike back.
And personally, I think this is the leftovers' best shot. I think they picked really well to go into LN3 here, considering the Rice scores Eliminated Set No had. Rice would probably not be in their favor, and the unfortunate loss on the Hybrid 3. They did play really well in Hybrid 3, but just did not grasp the win. So LN3 might be their chance to take the point.
Yeah, a little bit less standard overall than something like Lancelot, but an opportunity nonetheless. A bit of a mix-up in terms of play style, and we see a substitution on the side of Eliminated Set No. Zusta does check in for Had and so.
And we see in chat, Tebelkin does claim to only be running on 1 hour of sleep. It would be beneficial to get some good rest before your tournament days, everyone. Make sure you rest well.
I think a lot of players operate in the assumption that if they go to sleep, they're going to sleep through their match, which happens more often than you think. But regardless, we are now into this third map of this match, and we see an early drop from Tebelkin. Those inner column LN anchors with the outer column things to do being a little bit too much to bear very early on, but thankfully it is before that 400 combo cap, so not going to do too much as Nels trades it back eventually, but Tebelkin really not faring too well, down to that 97% mark and giving Eliminated Set No a bit of a cushion to work with, as there's a 3-way drop, 4-way now. Bagetka, Tebelkin, Zusta, and Envy all dropping as White Albino holding on to the Soul FC, similar to how it was on Destroy the Happy End. Oh, and as I say, they find the drop, not able to replicate the heroics of Hybrid 3. And we're continuing our way into the back half of the chart as Zusta finds a pretty substantial drop. Envy falls as well, and now the leftovers take control of the lead. And as we continue on, Bagetka able to recover very nicely, over 1,000 combo. The only person with any real substantial combo, as we see some more drops transitioning into the back half of the chart. White Albino, Nels, and Zusta all losing their combo here. Next closest ones would be Tebelkin and Envy, but right now it's pretty much in control for the side of the leftovers. This pick paying off in spades for the moment as we make our way into the last quarter of the chart.
Yeah, the leftovers had an insane combo. Their combos were so high. Envy's trying their best to hold on. Tunnel's bringing that combo back. Telekin does miss. We are getting towards the very end of the map. Does not seem likely that they can get their point. Leftovers might take their first point of the game here on LN3.
Yeah, last eighth of the chart to go. Just drops left and right on the side of Eliminate Said No. Two players with that 99%, but just a really struggling on this chart. Not really able to establish a bit of a foothold here as it comes to an end. And the streak is broken for the first time this round. We have a actual score reset, and the leftovers now have a 1-0 lead.
That is incredible. That is the first time we have seen that. This tournament, this round, as you said, that is history. Leftovers does seem pretty confident in their LN picks, knowing that in the future it seems like they will just go for LN or hybrid picks if this wasn't confirmed already.
Yeah, for sure. And the good thing is that they do still have LN2 in the back pocket to work with as well. Should they need it, remember, they don't need to win all 4 points in a row, but it'd be nice to end this match. But as long as they can just be able to stay in this with a bit of a shout, then that tiebreaker really throws everything out the window. It's a brutal gauntlet to work with as Eliminate Said No go into Rice 2. We're going to go into Little Girl Goodbye.Ra.
This was a pretty expected pick for Eliminate Said No. Going into Rice 2. This map, I've said this before. I don't know if people agree with me on this, but I would say this map is significantly easier to ratio in comparison to the other maps in the pool. That could just be with my dodgy skill sets.
Definitely one for debate, but if nothing else, very familiar chart off the back of it being loved, so at least the players will have some semblance of familiarity with it. As let me see, Bageka needing to re-download the chart. Always nice to see.
How can you not have this chart downloaded? This song does slap pretty guard.
For sure. And another chart on that 1.2x rate, bringing it just over 2.5 minutes. Also OD8, not really having any maps above that OD8 this round. And we see a substitution here, a couple. In fact, we have Mitch coming in for the leftovers and Had checking back in for Eliminate Said No here.
Was Mitch playing before?
No, it was White Albino playing
right,
in that top spot. So they're just giving them a bit of a break.
As everyone does need in this day and age.
For sure.
Alright, everyone's ready. We are going to get into Rice 2. I think Eliminate Said No should be pretty confident in their pick, but with Mitch coming in replacement of White Albino, we might be proven wrong.
Now we see the one mirror being taken for Tavelkin. Always interesting to see it.
What's also interesting is to see players drop 300s in the first two LNs. I would imagine Percy users, potentially.
Potentially. But, I mean, Rice players, when they see LNs, kind of freak out at the sight of them. But regardless, pretty strong start right out of the gate for everybody. I think the lowest accuracy I see so far, 99.5 for Bageka, but quickly climbing to rejoin everybody else. But it is going to hand Eliminate Said No the tiniest bit of a lead, a very slim one in the grand scheme of things of what we've seen so far this match, as we see 6 FCs going into the second quarter of this chart.
no one missing yet, which is has not been seen before this match. We're almost halfway through the chart already, and everyone's holding strong with very solid accuracies. Tunnels being the highest at 99.83. Incredible accuracy.
Yeah, they've definitely been showing a lot of comfort with these rice charts so far. And as we make our way into the back half of the chart, we see the first drop coming out. It is going to be inside of Tefalcon, but it is quickly traded back by Hat and no harm, no foul at the end of the day. Both of them are going to get back up with that 400 combo cap relatively quickly. But Envy finds the next drop here, and that one's not answered back just yet. And that's going to narrow this margin by the tiniest bit. A very clean drop overall. But the score loss from that miss is going to make things very dicey here.
Yeah, those misses won't mean too much when they have the accuracy advantage. All in all, Tefalcon will need to recover that accuracy from the miss. Bagjetka and Mitch both FCing, but the accuracy just not as high as Tunnels. Still in a 99.75. How does he do it? We're in the last 8 of the map. Can players hold? This can still change at any moment. Tefalcon with the additional miss. That's not what you'd want to see if you're rooting for leftovers.
Yeah, for sure. And all eyes turn to Tunnels, the real linchpin of this team, and they find the drop here, but Envy finds one as well. But it might not be enough here. The accuracy just too strong on the side of Eliminate Said No to really do that much of a difference. That being said, this lead is quickly shrinking. Tunnels finding another drop here very late on. It's going to come down to the wire, and it is not going to be enough. That is the closest margin we have had this match. About, what, 3,000 points inside of? Between 6 players. That is insane levels of performance.
Yeah, just under 3,000 points of difference. Unbelievable. Tunnel's PA, Envy's ratio. These scores are insane. Bagjetka with the FC, only FC in the lobby.
No, Mitch joined him. Yeah, double FC on the side of the leftovers. Not enough to overcome the ratio difference from Envy to Nels and Hat and that was just a slider break on the side of Hadan very early on, able to really reestablish themselves as a force in this map. And we break the streak once again.
That was Eliminate Said No's pick, and that was a scary pick at that. Really, really brought it down to the wire there.
And now for the leftovers. I mean, you still have LN2 in the back pocket to try and go into. Both hybrids also on the board, but I think I was about to say the rice found in them might be a little bit too much for them to overcome in terms of ratio difference versus Eliminate Said No, but it is going to be hybrid 2, so Emeralda is going to be the next pick here. Another very short map in this map pool to get through. And could we see another streak break? We're going to be quickly running out of maps here very soon.
Yeah, choosing to pick Hybrid 2 as opposed to LN2. Very interesting choice. It does seem like they were really comfortable on LN3 last time. So maybe they've practiced Hybrid 2 a good amount where they can say they're comfortable and have a solid chance of being Eliminate Said No. Now, saying that, they might be playing for Tiebreaker. So they might be picking the Hybrid maps, getting them close to their 4 points, and then pick the LN map to reset the score to take it to Tiebreaker.
That is a very good point. You don't want to exhaust your one good option too soon in case you do need it to break that point streak. So give me a chance to see how it comes to fruition here. They do still have a chance of taking this map outright and just resetting it once again, but remains to be seen. We're going to get into Emeraldas here. No substitutions for this map.
This would be a really, really good point to take if the leftovers can take it. We wait for Bancho to catch up.
Yeah, remember for those watching along that might not be familiar with the rules, we go to Tiebreaker the second that it becomes impossible to win by a margin of 4 outright points. So do keep that in mind as we get later and later into this match.
There will be less maps to choose from. 4 players missing at the exact same time. I don't think that was a Bancho error. Eliminate said no, do seem to be struggling a lot. This might have been a really good pick for the leftovers. Mitch and Bagetka holding strong and is trying to take their team. But that 30,000 score lead will prove to be crucial for the leftover to take the point later on in the map. We're already halfway through.
Yeah, already halfway through, and that explosion very early on to Vulcan, the sole survivor, does find a drop a little bit later on, but now they have the resources of their teammates to back up as they climb back up over that 400 combo cap. Envy and Tanel's finding a significant accuracy drop that really accounted for the bulk of this lead from the leftovers, and now all they really need to do is just manage this cushion that they have built up. Last 8th of the chart left to go. Everybody managing to stabilize back into their respective accuracy range, but when all is said and done, the leftovers reset this count once again and take the lead 1-0.
Illuminate said no, really tried their hardest at the end, having really high combos, just unfortunately missing at that halfway mark, as you can see on the HP graph. But the leftovers just crushed it. This was definitely their map to choose.
Yeah, for sure. And now we really reach that situation where we could potentially see the tiebreaker come out here, because we're quickly running out of rice charts. LN2 is still on the table for the leftovers, and we're down to 5 charts. So if 2 more get wiped out with trades back and forth, then we're going to see a Pacinthian drive for the first time this match.
This round at that. I'm assuming Illuminate said no, we're just going to keep picking rice. Seems like they are really dominant in that side of things. Unsure as to why they banned Rice 2, knowing that.
Well, Rice 4.
Rice 4, sorry.
Maybe it was just one of those pain points of a pick where it's like they just couldn't get a consistent team run at it. Or maybe the core members that would have played it just weren't feeling it during practice. And it is going to be Kamasori coming out here. So going into a little bit of core jacks. And this is an interesting pick just because of how volatile core jacks can be amongst the player base. It can swing wildly very quickly if you're not too careful.
Yeah, and the sudden non-core jack bursts that there are in this map can definitely throw people off, and you can definitely lose a lot of accuracy on those. Combo is not the only factor here. It being core jack ratio will be a huge factor when these scores get considered at the end.
Yeah, for sure. And to your point, those bursts that really break up the monotony in this chart, bit of a landmine to try and step through unscathed because of the fact that you're trying to establish a consistent rhythm throughout. It really breaks up the pacing, and we see another substitution here. White Albino coming back in for Mitch, looking to contest on this pick. 135 BPM core jacks. A couple of years ago would have been very hard. Now, pretty much at the level for a lot of players to contest on. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one goes.
I would love to see some full combos here. I would love to see some good ratio plays. Looking at Envy's and Tunnel's overall performance thus far, might see some great MA ratios here.
For sure. So we're underway. Not a lot of maps left to go. And we reach a very interesting situation if Eliminates and No does pick up this point, because they would need to sweep after this to avoid the tiebreaker. If the leftovers can get one more point on them, if it goes their way, then we do go into that tiebreaker very soon. And as we get underway, Eliminates and No building up a little bit of a lead here. White Albino finding a bit of an accuracy drop very early on, down into that low 99% mark.
Everyone hits the lung jacks. It's really surprising. I did see a few accuracy drops there, a couple 200s, not the easiest patterns to hit, but surprisingly everyone still holds through the sudden streams.
Oh, but there's the first drop. Had and finds the first miss on the side of Lemonade said no. Relatively clean drop overall. Still on that 99.6 mark. Going to help keep them in the lead for the moment as they try and make the recovery run. It's really just off the back of White Albino needing to pick up their accuracy. If they can get back up into that like 99.2 mark. Oh, a triple miss on the transition. Gonna wait to see if that was a client drop, but I don't see the combos recovering. Basically transitioning out of that section as Tevelkin picks up a second one.
And Tevelkin missing quite a few times. Bagjetka also misses there. It is now 1 FC versus 2. The accuracy advantage also being an eliminated said no's favor. Tunnels does drop. It's now 1 versus Envy versus White Albino. White Albino on the 99. Envy's on the 99.8.
Yeah, really pulling them through here. Going into the last quarter of the chart, as you said, Tunnels did find a job traded with Bagjetka, so no harm, no foul there. As basically this bottom side of the lobby is within lockstep of each other. It's the full percent difference at the top that is keeping Eliminate Set No ahead for the moment. And as this chart comes to an end, it's going to be another streak broken before it starts. And Eliminate Set No makes it 1-0 for them now, as we run into a very curious situation. We're down to the final 4 maps of this pool. 3 rice charts remain. Or 2 rice charts remain, 1 hybrid, 1 LN.
Can I also just say how close the ratio is between all the players here?
Oh my goodness, you're right. Within basically 100 of each other. Envy with the standout performance, 2 200s with what, a 1-to-10 ratio? I can't do math, but 995,000 points. A very disgusting score.
Very. Props to you, Envy. Props to you. Good job with that score.
That is ridiculous, but 4 maps left to go. Any streaks broken from this point on will lead to an immediate tiebreaker coming out.
Well, if leftovers win, they can still win LN2 and the race maps.
Ah, that's true, because if they do win LN2, they can win all 3 points. So
there will be 2 maps left at most.
At most. So remains to be seen. They need to make the right picks here, because Eliminated No could go on a run here and close this match out.
I wonder how it's going to play for LN2. Eliminate said no, may be able to win the race picks, but as soon as the LN map is picked, judging by their LN3 performance, I do not know. Potential tiebreaker incoming.
Yeah, it's going to be Hybrid 1, so Saihate going to be the pick for the leftovers here. Found pretty good run on Emeraldus. Saihate a little bit more interesting, a lot more varied, but telegraphed in those transitions, so you can kind of brace yourself for what is to come in that chart. So remains to be seen who's gonna contest on this one. And another very short chart as well, 2 minutes 15 seconds. So this is going to be at a premium here, going to swing things ridiculously one way or the other.
Seems like Mint would really like to get things going. As we wait for a third player.
So we see 2 more substitutions. Mish comes in for the leftovers. Zusta comes in for Eliminate Said No.
Okay, as we get into it, this is only a 2-minute map, OD 8.5. Not a crazy long map. Misses can play a huge role, as they always can in tournament matches.
As we wait for everybody to get synced up. Gotta love when the client refuses to load somebody in, but Here we go, and this one's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. Tanel's finding some very early drops here, going to lead the lead over to the leftovers for the moment as everybody starts to get settled in. And another drop on the transition into this little bit of a core jack section. Sista follows soon thereafter.
Mitch does find the drop. Tevelkin Bagjetka still holding FCs as far as I'm concerned, and Envy for Eliminate said no. Tanels and Zust, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but both not holding FC. Their accuracy is not as high as some of the other players in this lobby, as they do get above the combo cap. Now Mitch does find a drop.
Yeah, pretty substantial drop there from Mitch on that speed section, but quickly traded back by Tanels and Susta, and Envy falls as well. There goes the last full combo for the side of Eliminate said no. Both Bagjetka and Tevelkin holding on to the highest combos in this lobby, as Eliminate said no really struggling to reestablish a bit of a foothold as this lead quickly spirals out of control going into the back half of the chart. Mitch finding the drops in return, but really so long as somebody on the side of the leftovers can hold on to a full combo. Bagjetka, the latest one to drop. Tevelkin really holding down the fort, holding down this lead for the leftovers going into the last third of this chart.
Yeah, Bagjetka does lose that FC. Tevelkin, the only FC in the entire lobby now, 2/3 of the way through the chart. Not many players are above the combo cap.
Oh, they do find the drop. They're finally losing the full combo. So all 6 off the board, but they do have both Bagjetka and Mitch at that 700 combo mark to kind of back them up here. Tanel is the highest combo in the entire lobby, but really, as their team, not really able to get themselves into this map from the early offset. Gonna give the leftovers the win here and make it 1-0. Once again, they're gonna need to sweep from here on out to avoid the tiebreaker.
That was a huge score advantage there. 80,000 points.
Yeah, pretty significant margin. As Envy and Tanels actually basically tied each other, but Bagjetka with the standout performance here, 970k.
Yeah, again, this is a repetitive thing with Tunnels and Envy with their MA ratio. Bagjetka with only 2200s. Also an incredible feat.
For sure. So now if there's a streak broken, we go to tiebreaker. And it is Eliminate said no's pick.
All it takes is for 1 point on Eliminate said no, and it will go straight to tiebreaker.
And they're going to try and do it on Rice 5 here.
Was this map in Speed of Light 2?
I can't recall. That one was before my time, but very hard map nonetheless. Some interesting performances on this one so far this weekend. As we wait for Hadan to get back in here.
So, Sparky, what do you think of the player performances thus far on both sides?
It has been very balanced. I think we were saying it before this match started, that this had the potential to have some of the first streak breaks during this round, and it really has lived up to the billing. Everybody really performing on their respective picks when needed to. So I mean, we might actually need that tiebreaker to break this deadlock, and that is an order of magnitude harder than everything else in this pool. Not impossible, but definitely one for not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, definitely. Before the match started, I personally did not think it would be this close. So this is a surprise to me, at least, that we have gotten this far and are going to potentially see a tiebreaker for the first time this round.
For sure. And right now, just waiting on the players to ready up and get that MP start command relatively shortly. I think everybody's kind of settled in to the match procedures, and there we go. MP start command comes out. Eliminate said no, needing to win a point from here on out to force the tiebreaker. The leftovers potentially still mathematically capable of winning this match outright without going into the tiebreaker, but given the performances from Eliminate Said No on these Rice picks, it's going to be a bit of a tall task here. Mitch, Tavelkin, and Bagietka looking to try and keep their streak alive, stave off that tiebreaker. And
yeah, and this map is on the shorter end. This is one of the shortest maps in the pool, so things can change very fast in this map. As I say that, we are already almost a quarter of the way through the map. Very short.
Yeah, this one just builds and builds. Layers and layers of complexity. The Grey Snows, the Flams, all over the place. The implicit mini jacks catching out to Velkin gonna hand Eliminate Said No a bit of a lead to work with here. And with a map this short, we're already going into the back half. Those column 4 mini jacks really giving to Velkin a bit of trouble here as this lead quickly spirals to about 30,000 and climbing.
Yeah, that one miss, as I said, because it's such a short map, that one miss that they had towards the start will already cost them a lot. Misses again does not seem too good. Does not seem likely they can recover that score difference already 3/4 of the way through the map. Already a 40,000 lead for Eliminate Said No. If all 3 players full combo, as I say that, Envy does drop.
Oh, there are misses all over the place right now. A 5-way drop featuring everybody except for Tavelkin. The one struggling early on is now the only person with any semblance of combo. Hadan and Tanels find late drops here. And off the back of Tavelkin actually making sure that they had some combo to work with, they're actually able to steal this point away from Eliminate Said No and now hold the phone here.
What was that? That was right at the very end. It looked so sure that Eliminate Said No would take the point. Those are some really big drops. Oh my god.
It is one of those. I mean, our referee literally had the tiebreaker queued up. They thought that Eliminate Said No was going to win that point. But that is ridiculous levels of performances from the side of the leftovers, facing the tiebreaker in the face, able to pull it out there at the very end. Those misses really catching up with the blue team here. And now they have another pick to go through, and they have LN2 still on the table.
It does not matter what is picked. Both maps will be played as long as leftovers will win the first one. So Race 6 and LN2 will be played if the leftovers want to win before tiebreaker.
Yeah, it looks like LN2 is going to be the call. Now, we reached that crossroads very early on. It was a decision of, do you go with the hybrids or do you exhaust this last LN? And the leftovers went for Emeraldas, and it has paid off in spades. Now having this as their final pick for a potential match point situation. And I was not expecting this to come out. I was fully preparing myself for that tiebreaker to come out based on how these teams have been performing, but never count a team out until that map is over.
Yeah, that last Rice pick was so incredibly close. Those are just some really crazy misses towards the end of the map. I also thought for sure that was going to be straight to tiebreaker, but we were proven wrong.
For sure, and Tavelkin going to be tagging out for this. We get White Albino back in here. Basically the hero for the leftovers on these hybrid and LN picks, has managed to maintain combo through some really difficult sections while their team finds some drops to really keep them in some of these picks. So we'll see if they can pull off a third great performance in a row. Meanwhile, on the side of Eliminate Said No, it looks like it's going to be Envy, Tanels, and Had, and this one being the LN density pick. Might be able to get away with playing this sort of like a pseudo jump stream pick. Remains to see if the combo versus accuracy debate will get settled on this map.
This is Eliminate Said No's second chance to take it to tiebreaker. What? White Albino already missing at the very start. It's a 2-minute long map. Longer than the last map, to say the least. That miss at the very start will not cost too much. As I said, Mitch also misses.
But Tanels trades it back here on the transition out of that density section. Now you have a bit of a reprieve before things start to pick up once again. But Lemonade said no, holds onto the lead for now, but it is a very slender lead in the context of this match. Can switch in an instant if anybody on the side of the blue team misses, and it's going to be a trade between White Albino and Had and Tanels falls as well, traded by Mitch once again, but Mitch finding it a little bit harder to reestablish themselves here, finding a huge accuracy drop down into that 97% mark, not traded back, and Baguetka falls as well. No FCs on the side of the leftovers. Meanwhile, the last one falls for Eliminates That No as well, but the damage is being done here. So half the map left to go, but they are not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, halfway through, and the score lead is already this much. Things were looking promising for leftovers at the start with their full combos, but now Eliminates That No all over the combo cap. White Albino also missing yet again. This will cost them a lot of points getting into the last half of the map.
Yeah, Hadan trades it back eventually. Envy falls as well. Tanels holding down the fort for the side of Eliminates That No, and they found the fall as well. Traded back and forth once again. Baguetka, the only person with any real semblance of a combo above that 400 combo cap, but it is not enough. They're able to claw back some of the lead, but the accuracies become the main factor here, keeping Eliminates That No ahead for the moment. There's still one very nasty stream section to read through, but they're all managing it relatively closely. A four-way drop across both teams, and it is going to be Eliminates That No breaking the streak and forcing us into tiebreaker.
This is the first tiebreaker that we have seen this round. Envy and Baguetka's ratios, not to be scoffed at, really good ratios from every player, as a matter of fact. Very close all around. I think we know now why LN2 was chosen last.
Yeah, for sure. Very hard map to get through, especially in that late situation. Pretty close for the first part, but ultimately just not enough gas left in the tank to see it through to the end. And now we are here at the tiebreakers. The first time we have seen it this round, and I don't know who's going to win this. I think it's going to come down to who has the nerve to survive 6 minutes of what is essentially torture.
Yeah, 6 minute long map, OD7, almost 7 stars. I am really curious as to what we're about to see. This might be a very wacky match.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen some wild swings back and forth so far in this match. I feel like this one could be... It could go one of two ways. Either we're going to have a back and forth for 6 minutes, or we're going to see one team just blow the other team out of the water. And it looks like we're gonna have basically the mainstays for both teams, Mitch, Baguetka, and Tavelkin, coming in for the leftovers. And Eliminates That No gonna have Envy, Tanels, and Had, and both teams on the cusp of surviving to the fourth round, that fourth game. And we're gonna have to say goodbye to 4 of these players in 6 minutes time.
Yeah, this map being so long, this will definitely be a battle of misses, I feel, more than accuracy. It's nothing crazy to see at the very start of this map. All players already holding strong. Tavelkin does drop a little bit of AC, but as I said, will not mean much, as I presume this will be a match about misses more than AC.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we have seen it before, Tavelkin struggling on outer column anchors, but Had and actually going to be finding the first drop before any of the real meat of the chart makes its appearance. We get into this dense LN section, and there's a chance for them to climb back up with that 400 combo cap. Mitch going to find a drop as the density begins to increase. Tanels falls as well, Had and we're seeing all the drops. Baguetka, the only one surviving through that section, holding on to the sole FC left in this lobby. Probably not long for this world, but it is enough to give the leftovers a bit of a lead to work with through this first section.
Yeah, Tevlikin and Mitch did miss after getting through that section, which will make the gap narrower. Lemony said no, might be able to take the advantage back, all on higher combos, as opposed to like Jetka on the FC. Tevlikin and Mitch sitting a bit lower. Everyone is above the combo cap now. Lemony said no, we'll need to just hold their accuracy to bring the score back to them.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's starting to even out once again. Accuracy's climbing slowly but steadily. And really, it's just a standout performance on the side of the leftovers, keeping them in the lead. But as I say that, everybody on the side of Eliminated said no, except for Hadan, who finds the drop, building in terms of their accuracy, while the leftovers, you have Tavelkin and Mitch basically hanging at or around that low 99% mark. And they're going to be able to start making inroads here before too long if they're not too careful.
We're almost approaching the halfway mark. All players are above that combo cap. The score is still so close. That's under a 10,000 score gap. Tenels does find that miss, which will make that gap a bit wider. Hadan also with the miss. Tevlikin and Mitch are holding really strong combos. And Bajetka, I believe, still holding the FC.
Yeah, Bagitka holding on to that FC, as you mentioned, really doing their part to keep the leftovers ahead for the moment. All three of them actually really establishing a foothold as we see the double miss coming out from Mitch and Bagetka here. So all four combos off the board now. Tavelkin holding on to the highest combo, really picking up the slack here, keeping them ahead for the moment. The lead is shrinking ever so slightly, but there is a full combo reset on the side of Eliminated said no, as Tenels and Envy drop. Hadan the highest combo on their side, 500 and counting, but you have the supporting combo on the side of the leftovers, keeping them ahead. But Mish finding a little bit of difficulty in the speed section as we see another massive burst across the board. And Tavelkin falls as well.
Tevlikin did have that 3,000 combo, keeping them alive. Mitch and Bagetka did miss quite a few times. I was going to say that can help. Limited said no, bring it back, but Tenels and Hadan do appear to be struggling a lot more on this side of things. Envy's only had a few drops so far, still almost just underneath the 99% AC. Bagetka is actually on the 99.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous run from them. All these staircase runs giving players fits right now. Envy missing on the transition out of that into what could potentially be said as one of the calmer sections before things start to pick up in speed once again. Everybody reestablishing a bit of a foothold, but Tenels finds the next drop, traded by Tavelkin here, but this lead still in favor of the leftovers. A quarter of the chart left to go. They are not out of the woods just yet by any stretch of the imagination. It is a brutal gauntlet for these last basically minute and a half, 2 minutes. But it is the work that they put in very early on, seeing them through, nursing this cushion basically.
Yeah, that 30,000 score gap with just over a quarter of the map left. Still definitely very possible for Limited No to bring it back, but they're going to need to hold their combos and hope that the leftovers mess up quite a few times. As I said, Mitch does drop that 1.5k combo, does miss a few more times after that. Everyone Limited said no, still holding.
Yeah, we get into some very nasty anchored sections, but Tenel and Envy trade it back here. Last eighth of the chart left to go. Not a lot of real major surprises left up this map sleeve, but it is off the back of the fact that Bagetka and Tavelkin have recovered so nicely. 2,000 and 1,000 combo apiece. Hadan was holding down the fort for Eliminate said no, but not able to hang on there as they find the next reset. Both Envy and Tenel is at that 600 combo mark. Not really enough to really scratch this lead, as we see a three-way drop from the leftovers and a three-way drop in response from Eliminated said no. The density is starting to pick up. The stamina is at an all-time low across the board, and this lead is shrinking ever so slightly, but I don't think there's enough time left.
There's approximately like 10 or 15 seconds left of the map, and there's 30,000 score difference. I don't think it's possible to bring the score back. I think the leftovers will take the match.
Oh my goodness, they were staring at the brink of elimination at certain points. It looked like Eliminated said no had built up enough of a lead to see them through, but the first real combo break of the streak was enough to give the leftovers enough momentum to see them through, and it took the tiebreaker, but the leftovers are going to be able to eliminate said no from this tournament with arguably one of the best performances on this tiebreaker we will probably see this weekend.
That was only a 25,000 score difference, which I think only came up towards the start of the map. Towards the end, everyone just went back and forward with the misses. That definitely could have been a different outcome if not for the intro.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, kudos to Baguetka really asserting some level of dominance. 3,500 combo before they broke to start this map off, and to Velkin not too far behind. They were basically the Bash brothers for very long stretches of that map, and that really helped push them over the edge and see them through to the 4th round. So congratulations to them, Baguetka, White Albino Mitch, and Tavel survive into the 4th round. We say goodbye to Eliminate Said No, Envy, Sister, Nels, and Hat, and this is the end of the line for them. But we are not done quite yet with this block of matches. Surprised we saw this one go the full distance, as we have, I believe, the next
American
match.
Eagles. We have American Eagles versus Pokemon Are Furries.
The truest statement. Yep, starting 3 minutes ago. So we'll get that lobby set up. We'll take a little bit of a quick breather, and then we'll be right back with the action in just a few moments.
See you later.